All right. Hello, everyone. This is Obscure Titan here, and I have some very good news. I have completed all the animation clips for Nibiru Crisis Lithium. I've already got a good chunk of the voice work done, as well as the sound editing that I'm going to be using for editing the final cuts of the video, or the 4 episodes, I should say. And then I'm going to start rolling out the trailer and with a early premiere version of it, and that will be that. And so I'm going to go ahead and show you some of the clips. I'm not going to show all of them, but I'm just going to show that my tongue is just not being good to me lately. But anyway, I'm going to be showing you some clips of the film. I'm not going to show you all that, but I'm going to go ahead and showcase some of the stuff that I have completed for the film. So here is Tartarus, and there's going to be some characters that have not appeared in the, well, they are going to appear in the cuts, but I'm just hiding them because it's often a thing where I would turn some of the characters off in the scene so I can focus on some that I'm animating. All the while, some of the characters will either be standing there with their idle animations, or some of them will just end up running around or just do some other things. So here's Tartarus, one of the Paraka brutes, who are they called as the Bruticons. And I did quite a bit of stuff to work with in some of the scenes. Now, what I did with the case of, I think it was called, what was it? Tartachronos Gate. Tartachronos Gate, where the quartz characters end up going into this lab that's on I think it's called Yomizama. That's the name of the ring. So the different ways that I did to be able to showcase the environmental aspects of these settings is when it came to, oh wow, this texture's not showing up, but that's okay. I already got those rendered before that happened. Anyway, I mean that's kind of a thing with some of these textures because the paths has kind of got screwed up on this computer. I've been working on one of my most recent machines, a laptop for Full Sail University, and that was running much faster than this one is. So that definitely did some wonders. But anyway, some of the ways that I did to be able to showcase different environment settings in the same map is for the outside of this place right here that I built. I ended up, go ahead and turn this on. I ended up just setting it to a setting where it would be snowing outside. And I think I may have shown this. I don't know if I've shown this in the previous update, but that's just what I did. Okay, let's select that. There we go. I'm going to go ahead and turn this off, and there's nothing here. Now, the funny thing is, if I go ahead and switch this over to this guy right here, this was going to be the outside. But the funny thing is, I may have accidentally just used a different kind of... Okay, I'm actually using the second storm, but anyway. The funny thing is that I kind of switched these by accident with the sky. But this might actually have looked really good this way when I was rendering these, so I opted just to kind of work with them the way as it is. And then I'm just kind of going down here. There's really nothing in there, but that's Dark Energon in the pool that the Covenant use in their lab. And then there's the secret door right here that leads to one of the rooms, even though we don't end up seeing it anyway. They ended up going into this hallway further down and all that sort of stuff. So that's quite fun. I'm going to go ahead and go to a different scene now. And I'm going to go ahead and switch this over to, there's the Nibiru Crisis Lithium title opening. But I'm going to be selecting another scene. I'm going to go ahead and select the opposite version of Tartachronos. And that's called the Parademus. I'll just say Parademus lab, because that's where they are. So this is pretty much the exact same thing as the other one that I have shown you from the Unicron lab, and this is the Primus or Cybertron lab. Once again, some of the textures got missing when I got to work on this, or when I opened it in this computer, but that's not really so much of an issue, because I already got these rendered before this happened, so that's good. Same thing as with the other map that I've shown you. I ended up switching it between different versions of the skies. So for this one is for the outside, where Velvet would come here to this place to be able to go into the lab, distracting the Kaio Knights, and then being able to go in there. Well, somebody else was distracting the Kaio Knights, but anyway, she would then go inside, and it would look really bright in here. And then when it was time for me to switch over to this version of the sky, this is what would end up happening. No texture up here, unfortunately, but that's all fun and good. Here's the light energon pool, so pretty much the same thing down here, and it's darker this time than the other one that we see. And except that it's kind of like the mirrored version of the other one. It actually has a portal over there, so we don't really get to see that in the final cut of the film. I'm going to go ahead and show a couple more. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and open this guy right here. This is actually one of the earlier sequences in part 2, where Velvet goes to Cybertron to find the Cybertron files. Go ahead and get all the other guys in here. Let's see, I thought... Okay, so we'll go ahead and go all the way back by just a bit. Right over here, okay. So here, and I'm going to go ahead and turn most of the characters off. No, that's not what I wanted. Okay, so this is actually pretty good the way that this is. Right here. So here's Sky, who's already jumped out of the car, or out of this Thornadus jet that Velvet is going to use. And I'm going to go ahead and get this thing turned off for a minute. There she is riding on this jet right here. I'm going to go ahead and switch over to the rendered version where we have the final renders. And again, don't worry about the missing textures. It's already been rendered, so there's no need to worry about it. And then I'm going to go ahead and just kind of set this to 400. No, that's not what I want. Okay, go ahead and let this thing play for right now. And I know it's running a bit slower this time, but I'm just going to let this thing go. So here's Velvet already taking off. And so it might seem straightforward at first, but I'm going to go ahead and do some camera work over here. Switch over to, what's it? I think it's supposed to be VC camera. I'm going to go ahead and, actually, what if I do this? And then I'm going to go over here. And so some of the shots I did are something a little bit similar to what I did with Godzilla -3, where Spyro and his allies would be inside the jet, under a different color scheme, of course, and then they would end up flying over to, go ahead and zoom that out. So one of the methods I did was I would parent one of these cameras over to a character or a vehicle that would focus on the specific characters that the scenes are taking place. Okay, you saw that again. So let me go back a little bit. And so here's Velvet. She's already taking off. And then there's the expression that she has right here as she's about to take off. As well as our fellow named Spark, Prima Spark, or as we call him as Guilty Spark. We don't really get to see him a whole lot here in this scene, which is fine. Now, the cool thing that I've been practicing on, or even got to work on, is that I was able to... Hold on. I think I should... Okay, there's the Zai camera. So, one of the cool things I did is that while some of those same animations were going on, I placed some characters in different setting, or different spots of the same setting. Go ahead and get Zybot over here. There he is, holding on to Hanzo as a sword. So he's just kind of looking out into the distance and what he's going to do next after Velvet steps into the portal, and then we have Zurg following along afterwards. Okay. I think I could show one last bit of the animation renders, and that's going to be the Misilican prison cell. So I'm not going to be revealing a whole lot with what's going on here at this time, but this is pretty much the beginning as well as the ending to Nibiru Crisis Lithium, where characters would end up being locked up, and some of them are trapped in Basilika's homeworld. And Basilika sentences them to be imprisoned, or she would end up executing them. And some of the characters that will be important in the storyline will be thrown in here at the beginning and then released, or they would end up getting captured by somebody else. And then we have some more characters that would end up getting thrown into the Basilican prison. All right. So here's the cell itself. This is what it looks like in its final form, with all the textures that are added in, as well as with the lighting. It also has the Basilican symbol on each of these prison cells on top. And yeah, that's a pretty spooky vibe that's going on. And it's practically large enough for a group of people to be able to walk through. So there's some characters in there, including one that's further in the back. So whoever this character is, I'm not going to even say who that is yet. That's going to be something that you'll know once the film comes out, and then you get to make some theories about it. So, I mean, you could even make theories about the past films all you want, but that's just kind of how that is in today's society. So that's pretty much it as far as Nibiru Crisis Lithium's update goes. I'm going to get started on doing some editing and then just get the trailer out once the film is finished. And I'm also going to get the full early premiere ready for the YouTube upload, but I'm also going to be getting the Odyssey and Rumble uploads put in first. I mean, after all, Odyssey and Rumble really need a lot of the support they need to combat against YouTube. So yeah, anything that gets to go into Odyssey and Rumble first, and then YouTube gets it last. So yeah, take that, YouTube. Anyways, that's pretty much all I have to say here, and hope you all are having a great day. Take care.